I guess we could hang on to it if we got thrown out.
We're in Salt Lake City here at the Mormon Family Historical Library, where Darlene Underwood put the Underwood history in the Mormon records. This is my sister Maggie and Darlene at the Family Library Center. My daughter-in-law Michelle was the one that found the Underwood history and made the connection between the Wilsons and the Underwoods. This is quite an extensive or a huge library, and we took the opportunity to look up the ancestors of Margaret Jones, who married Joseph Shelby Underwood. Her mother's name was Witherspoon. She married Martin Jones. So we had an opportunity to look up the Witherspoon ancestry here and found their coat of arms. My sister Maggie and I had planned to meet in Salt Lake City and drive to the reunion from there in Oklahoma. I drove from Long Beach, California, and she flew in from Seattle. Unfortunately, my car sprung an oil leak on the way into Salt Lake City. Yeah, I had to rent a car to go to Oklahoma from there. But it was fortunate in that we got to spend a day with Darlene and tour Salt Lake City in the surrounding area. Maggie and I had hoped to have our other two sisters, Fran and Lorraine, with us on the trip, but they had working commitments and couldn't make it. I guess retirement has its advantages. Because Fran would love this.
Because when I see it, I'm going to say, I wish I'd been moving my stomach again.
As you can see, the day's delay was really worth it. The scenery was really spectacular. If you ever get stuck in Salt Lake City for a day, get Darlene to take you down to Provo and out to the Sundance area. It's really gorgeous. Darlene's an excellent tour guide, and her ticket prices are pretty reasonable too. That's a good introduction. You gotta pick up that on tape. One of the reasons that Maggie and I met in Salt Lake City was we wanted to go down south and then head east to Grand Junction, Colorado, which was where my father had first met his second wife, my mother. And we wanted to kind of backtrack his trail from there, which is a little town of Clifton right outside of Grand Junction, all the way back the route he would have followed, or that we suspect he followed, from Winfield all the way up through Lamar, Rocky Ford, and Pueblo. That is the area we suspect he followed because he had been working around the Lamar Rocky Ford area when he disappeared. We kind of got sidetracked here in the Green River area. We saw the Arches National Park, and neither of us had ever seen it, so we decided to go in and take a look. It's a pretty spectacular park. If you ever get a chance, you ought to go there.
Oh, Fran would have just loved that. Ooh.
As I said before, this little town of Clifton, right near Grand Junction, is where my dad first met my mother, his second wife. We could not find the farm, the Gear farm. We were within about 2 or 3 miles of it, but we didn't have an address, so that'll probably have to be left to another search. From these shots, you can see where the little town of Clifton got its name. We stayed at a beautiful little motel on the west side of Pueblo. They really had a lot of animal life around there, as you'll see. It was up on a fairly high bluff, and we were able to get some spectacular shots of the sunsets. I don't think it appreciates us being down here.
Well, I never do when I got missed.
We're not very far from some rain clouds. Rain clouds are kind of edging toward us, you notice that? You had to be kind of careful where you walked around the motel. These little bunnies would freeze and you'd almost step on them. There's a very interesting phenomenon on this last sunset. Just as the last rays of the sun disappear, you'll see a white flare behind where the sun goes down. I believe that's the sun's corona. Usually, it's very unusual to see that during a sunset. About the only time you ever see it is during an eclipse of the sun. And there it is right now. Rocky Ford is world famous for its cantaloupes, better known as cantaloupes. The little town of Rocky Ford and Lamar are very close together. And my dad Willis and his first wife Flossie on several occasions had gone to Lamar and Rocky Ford to work in the crops to make some money. Lamar was where Dad was working when he disappeared. And the last letter that Flossie ever got from Dad was postmarked Lamar. Right across the railroad station were a couple of old stores. I suspect they were thriving businesses when Dad was there back in 1923. From Lamar, Maggie and I went across Kansas through Dodge City to Wichita. And right, the thunderstorms were just building all around us all day. And they finally had us surrounded and we had to go through the storm. As you can see, there was a lot of rain and hail coming down. There was a lot of lightning strikes. When we reviewed the videotape of one especially bright lightning strike, we found that it lasted for 2 frames. The first frame showed a kind of a ionized band of air from the cloud down to the ground, and the second frame caught the lightning bolt itself. Both frames lasted just about a 30th of a second. We decided to do a freeze frame so you could see that ionized band. Maggie and I stayed overnight in Wichita and then drove south the next morning to Winfield, Kansas. The reason we went there was that in 1922, when Dad had written that he was going to leave Lamar and come to Veneta, he never showed up. When he hadn't showed up, the Veneta sheriff had gone to Winfield because they'd found a body in an old barn up there, and he had tentatively identified that as Dad. Well, we went into the courthouse there and checked with the sheriff and went over to the police station and checked with the city's chief of police, and they had no record of any unsolved murder or anything about the body that we could find. So Maggie and I then went over to the Winfield Library and looked at the old microfilm of the old newspapers, and we didn't find anything. Unfortunately, I realized later I'd been looking in 1922 instead of 1923. Well, anyway, when we left town, Maggie stopped and got a postcard of an old barn. We figured we could tell Carrie we found the barn and got a picture of it. We didn't figure he'd notice the snow on the barn in Kansas in the summer.
Here's the old mama robin on top of Mildred's house. Got a beak full of worms for a little baby. Don't think she'll be done feeding while I'm here. He's right down there at the near the corner of the house in the grass.
During our wonderful 2 weeks visit to Oklahoma and the reunion, Maggie and I stayed at our sister Mildred's place in Veneta there. Mildred has a lot of wildlife around her place too. Here you can see 2 old bats chasing something. I think it's a baby robin. We're here at the Tulsa International Airport waiting for Maggie's daughter Becky and my son Kerry to arrive. This airport scene was played over and over again in the days preceding and following the reunion, particularly by Aunt Dorothy and Uncle Bus, trying to get pick everybody up at the airport and then deliver them back to their airplane.
This house belongs to Scott and Brenda Gordon. Brenda is Billy Underwood's daughter, or my cousin. Scott and Brenda were very, very nice to let me and Becky, also my cousin, stay with them our entire trip. While we stayed there in Java, Missouri, we dug through all kinds of old family photo albums that she had. We watched the Sci-Fi Channel nonstop, had some very interesting tarot card readings, and I don't like to brag, but I beat them all handily in a game of poker. Downstairs there is a real head of household, Rodney. He was on hand to give free salt licks to anybody willing. I can't thank Scott and Brenda enough for their great hospitality.
Everybody turn around now.
Did you get Mildred saying she was going to get in the sun when she was walking?
There's going to be a lot of video this weekend.
They're like shooting each other. Guess we're not brown, so. Have you got us now?
Oh, you've been had for quite a while.
Okay, we've been had a long time.
This is the beautiful ranch house of Aunt Dorothy and Uncle Bus's ranch there where the reunion's going to be held. This is a couple of days earlier, so we'll get a chance to look around a little bit with the population explosion. Actually, the Aunt Cora and her North Carolina tribe have mostly arrived, so we're going to get a chance to have a real good visit with them before the reunion.
That's going to be so nice.
Just a short distance from your home.
Yeah, we would have one of those
How many times have you ridden Rags? Your horse's name was Rags, right? Did you take Rags? Is that right? Yeah, it's a school too, huh? So you used to ride, you and Willis used to ride your horses to school, didn't you? No, not me. Your brother Willis did. He ride the horse to school too. Yeah, you used to race to school, didn't you? So we're sure glad you could come to Oklahoma. Did you take Rags back to North Carolina?
Here we are at the homestead here.
Because you're always We've got so many people there, and we would just love to have you.
We're going to go visit Joanne and Lena and Aunt Cora again so we can see their beautiful new home.
You want me to put the wheelchair you can hand down to carry?
Yeah.
And
And go to school the next day.
Oh, boy. I bet you all smell good. Oh, I'm sorry. Go down the pond. That's your brother's son. You go down that other way. But now on this side, now on the other side. How about that?
that's Willis Jr.
They're backed up both sides.
Who is that over there?
That's Jenny.
Who is that?
Jenny.
Who is it?
Jenny.
Jenny. Oh, yes, I know her.
You got your people all around you, right out here in the Indians, huh?
Yeah, Jenny's my young.
Sure she is. She's claiming you, don't you?
Hey, does Aunt Cora know any other songs?
Finally got her own.
She a good singer?
I don't know what she wants to sing.
What's he doing?
Can you sing them a song?
I could read in the ocean.
But you ain't in the notion of singing right now? You're not in the notion of singing right now? Sing me a song.
What do you want to say?
Can you sing one about the Indians?
Huh?
Don't you know one about the Indians?
Who is?
Do you know a song about the Indians?
No.
Yes, you do. Which one? Far beyond. Far beyond.
Huh?
Far beyond.
The rolling prairie where the noble forest ride. There's the sweetest little maiden ever seen by mortal eye. She was smiling like the sunlight, daughter of an Indian chief. Ain't you blessed their home and all of them, and they called her Golden Leaf.
That's right. Good.
Good job.
Another side visit a lot of us enjoyed was going out to Lester Rafferty's ranch out in White Oak.
This is for Marie. She's got to get a picture of this.
Lester had a couple of wonderful little photographs that he'd like to show you. The first one here is his mother, Caledonia Rafferty. This was taken sometime in the 1800s, and as you can see, it was pretty well touched up at the time. My dad Willis called her his Aunt Cal. She was a sister of Margaret Charlotte Underwood. They were both their maiden name. Their maiden names was Jones. Dad had told me that when his mother took him down to Muskogee to sign up for their Indian land, his Aunt Cal had gone with him. This is an old photograph of Caledonia and Roe Rafferty with their family in front of the house where Lester still lives. This is Lester, his sister Frances, and his other sister Hattie on the right. This is Caledonia, Aunt Caledonia, and her husband Roe Rafferty. It's Lester's father and mother. And this is Merlin Hale, who is a son of Myrtle there on the left. And that's Myrtle's husband Porter. Dewey is the last one there on the right. The photograph here, we couldn't take it out of the frame. That's why the photography isn't too good. You can see reflections, but it was so old we didn't dare take it out of that tortoiseshell frame.
You gotta carry on the tradition here.
We'll see you Saturday. Good to see you again.
Glad to see you.
Okay, we'll see you Saturday.
Okay, now what I do is my car keys.
See you Saturday.
Thank you.
Yes, those are walking boots. Yes. I didn't see why they talked about the boots.
Everything's about wore out.
Really?
Yes, sir. Glad to know you.
Here's a chance to get a good one. Take it up.
Thanks for letting us have the hospitality of your home. All right, glad to meet you. Well, I'll tell you what. Mike and Ruth coming closer.
I might call Marie tonight now we got the boots.
Mildred doesn't pay her electric bill sometimes, so she made us go out and bottle a bunch of these just in case of emergency.
Right down here around the lower part of that bush, they've been. See it? Oh, if you were looking right through that into the next jar, there was 3 or 4 of them.
There's a whole bunch of them. Just got 3 of them in a row.
Oh, good.
What you're looking at is in Joplin, Missouri. It's known there as a spook light. It's a very strange phenomenon. Scott and Brenda live in Joplin, and they took me and Becky to go look at it. It appears to be a headlight, but if you drive to it, you never get really closer to it,
That's it. See how it dims?
and it never really gets closer to you.
Joseph Shelby and Margaret.
This is a couple of miles to the west of where Lester Rafferty has his ranch, and this is the Lee Force Brothers Ranch. Dad had told me that he sold his Indian land to the Lee Force Brothers, and this is right near where his land was. We made a second trip out to Lester Rafferty's ranch with the North Carolina tribe. Sometimes we had trouble getting everybody in the picture. Come on, Mildred.
Okay, Mildred, you go get in it too. So go get in it, quick.
Oh, that's all right. It'll stay a long time.
Okay.
It's all right. It'll stay a long time.
Sometime it took several takes.
Okay.
All right, it'll stay a long time.
Okay.
It's all right. It'll stay a long time.
Okay.
It's all right. It'll stay a long time.
Well, we finally got it right.
Okay, now you run and jump down
Oh,
here.
one more to go.
Oh, Julie, you ran right through the
It was really hot out there, so we decided to move to the other side of the car in the shade and get some more pictures.
Hi.
Now, folks, you're going to have to be a little patient. Things are a little disorganized here, so just bear with us a bit.
Where are you? Oh, Francis. Well, you stayed here a little while, didn't you?
I used to play around with Joe. I'm the baby. I used to play with Joe.
Oh, you was baby. I'm the older, she's younger. Jenny is older than you.
Right. 2 years. How about getting in shape?
Yeah, that works better. Get in shape.
We're getting a real good rear shot at Francis.
Very, very slight. You're the oldest girl. Hey, Lester, I got my throwaway boots on today, see zippers in. I got mine on. Well, we got a picture of the old boots that we have my brand new ones that Marie sent.
Yeah. There's Lester. Okay. He wants to see Lester. Okay.
Here's Lester.
You remember him? There's Lester. Can you get it with us in here? Okay, the train is running back there. There you go.
Well, you gonna have to move it up a little closer?
Nope, I just zoomed it in. I'll see how it looks. I'm not sure how far away this will pan. We'd also like to show you how the stealth Indian sneaks into a picture, gets a snapshot, and sneaks out again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In fact, that may be worth a second look.
Wild potato there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's wild potato there.
Pardon? From this point, I've got Mildred in there, and it goes clear out to Bus's car, so it's got a good angle. I'm just going to
Okay.
so I can zoom it clear in.
So that means I can get right here without getting in the
Oh, don't worry about getting the picture. That's all right. You can't tell from this picture, but those of us that were there can tell you it was really hot out there. I think Aunt Cora's getting kind of fed up with all this picture taking. So I think we better get organized before Cousin Lester kicks us off his place.
See, this way with the panorama, I'll get those taking the pictures and those being in the picture.
Can we get a picture of the guy that's taking the picture?
More cameras here in the Kodak convention. Get over there, Mildred. You're lost again, aren't you?
What do you want? What do you want?
Great.
That's broke.
It won't zoom anymore.
That's good. It's broke.
How old are you?
Huh? 7 years. That's about right.
Where's Willis' boy at?
Willis is where that's him taking pictures.
Oh, his boy, he's over there.
Gary is chopping.
Oh, I can't tell. It's supposed to have a little red light up there, but I can't see it.
I can't see the red light. I don't.
I bet it's running.
Yeah. You're fine. Better.
How old are you?
77.
77. Let's see now, is Jack older than you? Yeah, Buck said he's 80. 78.
We come down the section line.
After we left Lester's, we went down an old section line there and to look at the old homesteads. This is a picture of the old Chitwood homestead where Uncle Bus lived for a while. And this is on the western side, correction, it's on the eastern side of the old section line. On the other side and down the road just about a mile or so, which we'll see here in just a minute. This is where the Margaret and Joseph Shelby Underwood had their old homestead. It's right below that white streak on the horizon. There's a little ravine there, and that's where the old homestead was, where my dad was raised.
It's a good picture taking crew.
We also took after lunch. We also took a trip out to the White Oak Cemetery, where Joseph Shelby and Margaret Underwood, along with several of their children, are buried. And this is the first time many of them have been to the cemetery in a very long time.
Looks like we're getting about ready to go.
Uncle Bus also gave us a guided tour of the Will Rogers Museum there in Claremore. It's really a beautiful memorial to Will Rogers there. It was really nice to visit the Will Rogers Memorial Museum here, because I can remember my dad talking about being a cowboy with Will Rogers' father. In fact, we have a tape recording of that my sister made, and we'd like to play that.
I met Will Rogers' father. Well, he was on the cattle drive with us that year. And one thing he told me when I had a real good horse, and all of them took a fancy to him. Not me, but the horse. They thought he was a great horse. Finally, I had two horses on the drive, but one of them gave out, so I had this little black horse. He was really tough. He took it all the way there and back. So Mr. Rogers, he told me, and he says, kid, he said, you want to get you a good education. He says, my oldest boy, Will, he says, he won't amount to much. He says, he went to cattle punching. And he says he won't make anything. He says, my two younger boys, says, I'm going to see if they get a good education so they can make a good living for themselves.
Isn't that something? And the only one we remember is Will Rogers.
Yeah.
We never hear anything about the other two.
Well, Will Rogers, his father, was a small fellow. He wasn't very large, probably 135 pounds. And that's one highlight of the first cattle drive, and the next one was we drove him to a big ranch in Osage Hill.
me one time while I was asleep.
Well, finally we get to the purpose of this videotape, the 93 reunion. There were over 50 people attending the reunion at the Underwood Ranch here, and we decided to try to get individual shots of everyone. Things were quite chaotic, so we didn't get everyone, but hopefully we didn't miss too many.
Tell them who you are.
Tell who you are.
Lester Rafferty from Waterville.
Thank you.
He'll say Crapella.
Les Underwood from Burgess.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, you talk.
I'm Helen Underwood. This is Jack Underwood. We're Dorothy and Buster Underwood. This is Buster and Dorothy Underwood's son. I'm his wife. Tell your name and
Are you ready,
say
Karen?
who you are and what's your name.
My name is Butch Underwood. I live in Inola, Oklahoma. And I'm Jack Underwood's boy. Helen's Underwood. And this is Brittany's turn, which is my little daughter. Here, Brittany, here, stand right here and tell me your name.
Brittany Underwood.
Don't show your teeth, though.
Hurry. Tell him.
It's Brittany Page Underwood.
How old are you?
6.
Okay, get out the picture. Hurry, Chelsea, say something.
What's your name? What's your name? How old are you?
Time 3.
3. Okay, it's Nikki's turn.
Nikki and I'm how old are you? 10.
Give us all the stage.
My name's Derek Nett and I am 10.
You want to do it one more time, Derek? I didn't get your face in there.
One more time, Derek. Louder.
Okay.
My name is Derek Nett and I am 10. My name is Erica Nett and I am 7.
Checking out the dog.
You're talking, right? You gotta go with your family. Hi, I'm Yvonne Underwood. This is Ronnie. We belong to Buster Underwood.
Say that one more time.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Underwood. This is Ronnie. He belongs to Buster Underwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you want me to get?
Scott and Brenda Gordon.
This is my Aunt Mildred Reynolds. She belongs to the Willis Underwood family, and I'm her niece. And this is my husband. Wow, on TV. This is my niece. This is my children, Erica and Derek, and my name's Penny Nett. I'm Jack and Helen Underwood's daughter.
I couldn't do it with her.
And the dog. What's the dog's name? What's the dog's name? Fran.
I don't know.
Granddad's
I'll just
dog.
name him right now. His name is Lucky.
I'm Jenny.
My brother calls it electronic engineering.
I'm Jenny McCann. This is Thomas, my husband. My grandson, Jeffrey, and I belong to Coral Parker. You got to get in there.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
You got to be the spokesman.
Okay.
Tell you what,
I gotta get the center.
Okay.
You should know.
Yeah.
You got any kids?
No, we deliberately took
Oh, I'm Becky.
Now we're just.
And I'm Willis.
I'm Carrie
Wilson Underwood.
I'm Carrie Christopher Wilson, his youngest son.
Underwood. And I'm Maggie Langsbury Dash Wilson Underwood.
His youngest daughter.
I'm Mildred Lee Underwood Reynolds. That's the sister of the rest of them. Starting now. Rolling.
Boy, there's a lot of you in this picture.
Thanks to Craig. Are they supposed to say who they are?
Okay, go ahead and start at the left and I'll have to just pan across you guys here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Pitts, Oklahoma City. Dana Pitts, Oklahoma City.
Darlene, and this is my wonderful family and friends.
Craig Pitts, Oklahoma City.
Melissa Pitts, Oklahoma City. These are our children. Michelle. What's your name? Sarah, and this is little Tanner.
Oh, I forgot to.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, and Bess and Dorothy are my wonderful friends.
Okay, next group.
Let's go find that dog.
So did we get everybody?
This is Carrie's studio here.
He's
He's having everybody stand up there say their name and what family they belong to.
Jenny and Joan are not here.
Margaret, I'm right here. Jenny's over there. Jenny, you're supposed to get up. Somebody's got to do the camera.
It's center right here.
You want me to do it for you? Yeah, you just smashed this button.
Who's gonna start out?
Am I right here?
All the tall people in the back.
Okay, Jenny, you gonna tell who you are? I've already told them I'm Jenny. McCann. You don't know. Which one?
Tell it. Everybody tell who you are.
Jack Parker Jr. This is my dad, Jack Parker Sr. Your sign is?
I'm Joan Pendergrass, the youngest of the 10. See, I'm Cora Parker.
Oh, did he leave you?
This is Cora Parker, my mother. I'm Lena Denstill.
I'm Margaret Grumbine.
I'm John Grumbine.
Behind John there.
Okay, who's back there?
Tony and Lisa Mills.
Did we get everybody?
No.
Over here.
Over there.
I'm Julia Parker Solomon. This is my daughter Amy Solomon. And Alex isn't here today.
Okay, I think we got everybody.
Right. Thank you.
The young ones sing Grandma. Grandma can start off.
Hold on, one more thing.
Hold on. Hey, keep it quiet there. Dana.
Dorothy Underwood.
I'm Rhonda Graham. This is David Graham, my husband. I am Ronnie's daughter.
Her granny. Vic Underwood. This is Lori. Fiance. That's it.
And who are you?
Oh, Ronnie Underwood's son. Oldest. Only.
This is our grandmother.
All right.
Boy, you did good, Mick.
That was my scream.
Alright, my name's Brandon Roberts. I'm Kathy and Larry Roberts' son, and I have two little sisters, Brett and Brianne. They aren't here right now, and I'm Jack Underwood's grandson, and that's all.
This is my lovely wife, Trudy, since we were 14. This is my big kid, Nick. Thank you. Put down. Brittany and Chelsea, too. You see them. Smile, Chelsea.
Okay, back on the deer.
Tell them who we are now.
Right here, Daddy.
Yeah, you follow them right there. See Lester?
Right here. You're going to be right here.
That's fine. That's fine.
What am I going to do? Fall down?
Betty Christie, Lester Rafferty's daughter.
Okay. You want to give them your name?
I'm Ruby Rafferty, and I'm also from White Oak. Was that all?
That's all. That's all. Unless you want to sing and dance.
As the breeze gets up, the outdoors are becoming more and more popular. Looks like the photo session's over. Once the photo session was over, one of the highlights of the reunion got underway with the with Uncle Bus's hayride. It was really a warm day, but everyone enjoyed the trip around the ranch.
we mostly just put the hams on the hayride. The more photogenic hams. Like I said, it was really a hot day out there. When everyone got back, they were ready for iced tea. These two didn't go on the hayride, but they had, between them, they had about 195 years of memories to relive. Everyone spent the rest of the afternoon just getting to know each other better. Why don't we just listen in a bit? As you can see, there's hardly anybody's lost for words. And this is our gracious host and hostess. As you can see, later on in the afternoon, everybody kind of got a little cool and everybody kind of moved outside.
She was an 8, so the kid would be a 4 from her side. So if they just didn't count you, they'd still be 4. If they count you, they lose. And I took that one home, but I had a camera and I bumped each other and I looked through there and I figured at the lid dropped down and looked in that. Fell off my dad. Guess what? I had $150 and stuff. Still got the car? Yeah. Give me that
It was a long day and some of them just got tuckered out.
Oh, Fran would have just loved that.
She wants the green mush.
As you can see, the age range at this reunion was quite extreme. It went from 1-year-old to 98 years old.
Can you give Chelsea a big
It's kind of like
He likes you, Chelsea.
One mishap occurred on the way to the reunion. Darlene, her son, and his family were about 20 miles from the reunion when their car was rear-ended. Luckily, no one was hurt real bad, but it was kind of scary.
It's about 95 degrees out here. This is about the coolest place other than inside the air conditioner.
We finally got a picture of Kathy. She was a late arrival. She's the daughter of Helen and Jack Underwood. She was a little late getting to the reunion. Looks like we got a future Hall of Famer coming up here. We know he can pitch, but can he catch?
It must be a southpaw.
Yeah.
Oh, he got it!
Yes!
You didn't tell him how big.
This is a group that's getting going.
Some of the younger set used the front yard for a volleyball court. You notice there aren't any old timers out there.
That looks kind of unfair to me.
Alright, we're gonna make a comeback. On the other side of the fence where you play though. That's why they moved.
Very slow game here, looks like.
What do you think? Ready? Go. Alright, look alive, team. Oh, Julia! I didn't know which way it was gonna go. Well, that's a good time though.
Hey, Joey, I documented that. I documented that miss.
Something like that. But if someone had gone there and said, this is Willis, Elias, Underwood, and even if no family showed up, that's who they would have buried him under, if that's who they thought it was.
Yeah, because the lawyer would sign the death certificate,
And he didn't.
Nobody signed it?
No. And so, if he'd have signed the death certificate, then she would have had to have declared him dead. See, he would have already been dead.
They're telling us too that a lot of that type of record is in Topeka, Kansas.
All I know is
And that's where we would have to write, if I've got the address to write.
We can
saw
write.
it have
I could write. I would.
Well, yeah, I bet a lot of it wasn't kept there. I bet it was kept in Topeka.
That's what they said, a lot of coroner's records and this.
Stem from the trail of Tier 3.
We just have to take a little trip to Topeka. How about reunion in Topeka next year?
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm misremembering.
In search of.
I find this interesting.
Continue.
Continue.
Part two.
Part 2.
But anyway, we're going back to Winfield and looking at the newspapers for 1922, November, December, January of 24, and see if we can find anything. Because there was all kinds of articles about missing bodies.
They traced the actually found connection back to her. She's the grandmother of my stepfather's family.
Why don't you try that song?
Yes,
I think it'd be great.
I think so too.
That's what people.
Blow a cloud of smoke.
Okay, now everybody blow a cloud of smoke. Like professionals, like you've been doing it all your life.
Small girl, man. I was sitting there waiting for her, and I was sitting in the chair, and I picked up the skirt on the lid, and I had the dust off his arm, and that was the room the maid, and they shut there was where the maid.
Well, you think you ever had that many
Was there really matter of?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. Boy, I never saw it.
And another thing, he was
Well,
did you get your,
boy, though, like I say, had 10 kids.
St.
All
Francis?
11.
They get, we went up to our room.
That's how come you end up in prison.
Going down the road, don't they? Get up and I can't do it without I said, baby, come on.
Well, you look good.
Downstairs to this. We're holding that pretty good. Sometime when you guys are down here.
You ever run across a 97-year-old man out there in Oklahoma and you don't know who he is, just look on his belt.
That's the second time that's happened to me. I was with my husband.
I wouldn't know the Donna.
But we didn't get to the ring that time. The man at the desk realized it. And he went and decided to sign it.
Okay.
She said, I'll see you. She says, I'll see you later.
And so we end part 1 of the 1993 Oklahoma reunion. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
I'm Helen Underwood. This is Jack Underwood. We're Dorothy and Lester Underwood. This is Lester and Dorothy Underwood's son. This one.
Butch Underwood. I live in Idaho, Oklahoma. And Jack Underwood's boy. This is Freddie's turn. Here, Freddie, here, stand here. Tell me your name. Don't put your face up. All right. How old are you? I'll take you up there. First, you
Want to do it one more time, Derek? I didn't get your face in there. Okay.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Underwood. This is Ronnie. We belong to Lester Underwood.
Say that one more time.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Underwood. This is Ronnie. He belongs to Lester Underwood.
Scott, Brenda Gordon.
This is my Aunt Mildred Reynolds. She belongs to the Willis Underwood family, and I'm her niece. And this is my husband. Yeah, on TV. This is my niece. This is my children, Erica and Derek, and my name's Penny Nett. I'm Jack and Helen Underwood's daughter.
And the dog. What's the dog's name? What's the dog's name? Fran.
I don't know.
I'll just name him right now. His name is what?
I'm Jenny.
My brother calls all the kids Larry.
I'm Jenny McCann. This is Thomas, my husband, and my grandson, Jeffrey, and I belong to Coral Park. You gotta get in there. You gotta be a spokesman.
Okay. Tell you what, I gotta get this set up.
Willis. I'm Underwood. I'm Kerry Christopher Wilson, his youngest son.
And I'm Maggie Langsbury, Dash Wilson Underwood.
His youngest daughter.
I'm Mildred Lee Underwood. The sister of the rest of them. Starting now?
Oh, there's a lot of you in this picture.
Thanks to Craig. Are they supposed to say your turn?
Okay, go ahead and start with the left one on the list. Pan across. Okay.
I'm Lisa Pitts, Oklahoma City. Dana Pitt, Oklahoma City. Darlene, and this is my wonderful family and friends.
Craig Pitts, Oklahoma City.
Melissa Pitt, Oklahoma City. These are our children. Michelle. What's your name? Sarah, and this is little Tim.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
And Matt and Dorothy are my wonderful children.
Now, where are you?
I'm Francis.
Oh, Francis. Well, you stayed here a little while, didn't you?
I used to play around with him. I am Joe. I'm the baby. I used to play with Joe.
Oh, you're a baby.
I'm the old and she's young.
Jenny is older than you.
Right. 2 years. How about getting changed?
Yeah, that works better.
We're getting a real good rear shot at Francis.
Very, very slight. The oldest girl. Get back.
Hey, that's for sure. I got my throwaway boots on today, so zippers in. I got mine.
We got the old teacher. We got my
Oh, that's like a Are you gonna let him move it up a little closer? Nope. I just zoomed it in. I'll see how it looks. Not sure how far we just From this point, I've got Mildred in there, and then he goes clear out to Bus's car. It's got a good description. Oh, don't worry, I get the picture. That's all right. That's the way you call wild turkeys. That's the way you call wild turkeys, huh?
Ulaloo-stew all alone and ololo and jololo and stralala mid all along my needly. But now allow the stridlings are bololo and sololo, it's nololo more ulaloo-stew mealily. I tullaloo get tullaloo the bannalanjo shalala to sealily what healily good sealily. But still a lil the stridlings are bololo and sololo, it's nololo more ulaloo-stew mealy. Got him. He stole money.
Now, Fern, this is right, goes right down to the old school?
We just crossed the creek. We're going to ford the creek here in a minute if you guys want to. Close and all.
Okay,
Brandon really loved that over there. I like the woodwork condition there too.